1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Out there, Guitar Land, Mike Henning here, coming today with a great old time tune, one of my favorites, Shove the Pig's Foot a Little Further into the Fire. A pig's foot is a blacksmith tool, so I think that's where the name comes from. Shove the pig's foot a little further into the fire. This one's in the key of G, and I think it's kind of like an advanced beginner song. I think you can get this one with some practice. We're going to use some just classic kind of out of G, open G positions, and then this up the neck kind of F-shaped G chord that you might have seen a lot in bluegrass and old time music. This is a really good one. The melody will definitely get stuck in your head, so be careful on this one. There's an A part and a B part. We're going to stay pretty close to the melody for this one because it's old time. We're going to not create too many variations, but just play it straight ahead, kind of just play the melody in a nice style. I'll break down the A part and the B part just as I played at the beginning, show you the left and right hand things you need to do to play the song, and then we'll break down some backup, kind of, again, using kind of more old time strumming with that alternating bass. A couple bass walks we'll go over in the backup section. All right, here's Shove the Pig's Foot a Little Further into the Fire in the key of G. Let's start breaking this one down. Here we go. All right, so let's start breaking down this first A part to Shove the Pig's Foot a Little Further in the Fire. Let's play like the first 9 measures. That's kind of like halfway through the A part so you can get a sense of how the melody sounds, and then we'll start breaking it down measure by measure. Here we go. Again, really slow. Okay, so for this opening melody line, we're going to start with like a little pickup. It's kind of sliding into the melody. We're going to slide from 2 to 4 on the 3rd string with our middle finger on beat 4. So count 1, 2, 3, and then 4, right? Play a downstroke with your right hand. And we're going to let that ring out into beat 1 of measure 2, and then we're going to play like a little response lick. Put your ring finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, play an upstroke, and then use the open 2nd string, B string, which is the same note as that 4th fret if you're in tune. But that's just going to allow us to get back down, and then play the 2nd fret with your 1st finger, open, and then a 2-4 hammer on the 4th string. So you have, and you can try it with all picked notes too if you want to start. And then a little response lick, let's break that down. Then we do open, 2, open on the 3rd string, and then down to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, upstroke, open, half note. So you have, coming from the end of measure 2. So if you get that, you actually have like a decent amount of the melody part down, so it's... letting that ring out in beat 3 for a half note. So 1, 2. And if you're having trouble with that, you could play it twice. Just play 2 quarter notes. We'll do that later in the song. So we're kind of using the open strings here. We're sliding into it to get a little bit of a fiddle sound. Instead of doing something like this, you could do it this way. Like starting with the open B string, and then maybe playing that 5th fret right here on the 2nd string, right? It would be good to learn it that way, but again, it doesn't sound quite as like fiddle inspired. This is an old time tune that's kind of based on fiddle, so we want to get some of those slides in there. And it's just a little tricky to go like this. You could also do it that way, but again, using that open string gives it a little more flow and helps you get back down. The other thing you could do is like do a hammer-on here. Kind of hammer-ons, you can add them where you want. Just remember to take out the picked, like an upstroke if you're going to do a hammer-on. Let that ring out, and then we do hammer-on, open 2 on the 4th string. I'm going to switch back to my middle finger. So 1 and 2 is how you would count that. Slide up. And that's going to be a dotted quarter note, so that's 1.5 beats. Play an upstroke on the 5th fret, and then 4th fret, keep that note down, and then 2nd fret. Same thing there, you could also go like... That would actually be also a nice way to do it. You could use the open string, but I kind of like using the fretted notes there. So again, think of it as like a series of phrases. So we have phrase 1. Now phrase 2. Okay, then we slide back up. This time I'm just going to slide from 3 to 4 because I'm right there. I got my index finger down on the 2nd fret. Also a half note. So let's do the counting of measure 4. So we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So with my pick, I'm doing down, 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 up, down, down, like that. Again, you can play that note twice if you need to. If you just want to hear the timing and then just take out the pick note. Then we slide up, play that exact same lick, just starting from the 3rd fret instead of the 2nd fret. A little response ending lick. So here we do it similar. Instead of sliding up to the 4th fret, we're just going to use the open string because we have to grab the 4th fret on the 4th string below it. So if you do it this way, you could, but it just, again, your fingers get a little scrunched up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the open string. So 1 and 2, 3, and then that same dotted quarter note. Play an upstroke on the 4th fret of the 4th string with your ring finger of your left hand. And then 2nd fret, 3rd string, open. So. So you can see this melody uses a very common form of the phrases. I call it 1, 2, 1, 3. So we have phrase 1, phrase 2, now phrase 1 again, phrase 3. So a lot of fiddle tunes and old time tunes follow that format. 1, 2, 1, 3. Whiskey Before Breakfast is a common one. St. Anne's Reel, I think, follows that form. So again, that's the like phrases of the melody. So again, keep that in your mind. One, it'll be less to remember. If you can memorize phrase 1, we're playing that twice, right? The other thing you can think about is if you think of that 1, 2, 1, 3 form of the melody for the phrases, now maybe you create a little variation on the 2nd phrase 1, or again, it gives you kind of some structure. You can organize the song in your mind. So let's play that opening melody line again. Here we go. You could repeat the whole thing again. We're going to do a little variation the 2nd time, but you could just go back up and start at do that slide in measure 9. Go right back to measure 2.